You're trying to quit corn, the scrolling, the weed, the sugar. You think it's willpower. It's not. You're under spiritual arrest, and the longer you treat it like a bad habit, the longer it owns you. Listen, the blueprint is in the description below. That is going to cut out all of this, but a viewer asked to jump into how to get over addiction. And so that's exactly what the we're going to do. So first thing I want you to understand is that if you're in an addiction, you're under a spell, right? The addiction owns you. And what addiction truly is point one, addiction is spiritual fog plus algorithmic programming. So you have to understand that your nervous system is hijacked by false highs and artificial meaning. You have to note that when you feel off balance because you are overly spending too much attention and energy towards one specific thing over and over without any progression towards whatever goal you have for your life or getting things done, any progressive track, then you are under some sort of sabotage or hijacking, if you will. And what the algorithm does is continue to program that by leaving you into a loop. Let's identify first your nervous system. Your nervous system is a centralized system within yourself, right? And it determines whether you follow your emotions or if you can stand still in silence. And a lot of you have this nervous system that's out of balance. It's not moved in neutrality. You need to figure out an internal structure that we talk about all the time that is fortified by law. The laws of the realm are simply a framework that you must follow. But first, the only way it's going to give you what you want is if you can hold your fucking nervous system in place or intact. So two, you're in a loop, right? So you have to first note that it's a loop that you're in. Right, and the loop usually is that you can identify an obstacle. Whatever you are looking to go after and go do can be put as the obstacle, right? Like I have to make a video. That's an obstacle or a task. But many people that are in an addiction will view their tasks for the day as obstacles. So you have to identify and see that you have a task to do, right? And then usually you attribute some sort of emotion to that task, knowing that it's either going to be hard, difficult, easy, like whatever. You're going to attribute an emotion to knowing that you have a task to do. Then, because that emotion triggers you negatively, because it doesn't give you a dopamine rush right away when you have to do tasks, right? You have to get through the tasks first. So you look for false dopamines, which then incorporates the algorithm. And the algorithm is going to give you false dopamine. What is that false dopamine going to do? Shoot your ass high in the fucking sky, right? But you have to come down because you're not really making any progress. You're just filling a void or a feeling that you wanted to get around because of the fucking obstacle or task that you should be doing. When you come down from that fucking dopamine, because it's gonna end no matter what you're doing, whether it's sex. Hey, when you're having sex, it's great in the moment, and then when you're done, hey, you're done, right? You have to start doing other things. The dopamine rush is over. All of the sex that you had is now okay, cool. It's given you an energy burst or not, or depleted you, and now it's back to business, and the task still remains. So you crash. And when you crash, you then realize, oh shit, the dopamine really didn't remove my task from in front of me. And so there it is again. And then it does what? Send you back into an emotional fucking rut that you then find false dopamine to get around, and then you crash once again. And you will do this over and over and over and over and over and over until your life fucking withers away and you end up to be nothing. So it's not that so it's the loop that you're in. It's not a flaw of yours. So whenever you find yourself in an addiction loop, it is not a flaw. It's just a loop that you can break. And we're going to break out of that today. Right? And lastly, you're outgunned. You're not undisciplined. A lot of you understand what the fuck discipline is. A lot of you know exactly what discipline is, and you know that you can be disciplined. But you're outgunned in so many ways in life. Life has its hold on you. Right? And it's usually not life, it's just your brain. Everything's internal. So understand that these are progressive actions that you're taking, right? So you're taking a step, right? That's you. You sit there and you understand that the next move is here, realistically. Right? But here comes the fucking algorithm with all of these shiny fucking dopamine, false dopamine hits. Right? And what does your ass do? You see the easiest route is one of these fucking colorful ass things because it looks nice. It gives you that feel, that nice. I don't have to face the harsh reality of making a jump to something that's going to progress me forward. I now see that, instead of making that jump, I can easily just walk onto one of these. They're nice and colorful. Love that. It's a new fucking spark to my life, but there's nothing to stand on because they're hollow. All of these are fucking hollow. There's nothing to them. Once you jump on them, you crash. You jump down. You go down. And guess what? You come right back to the starting point. And sometimes you might do that fucking jump so much, you might crash and end up back over here. Who knows? Or even worse, you stay stagnant right here for years on end, letting that be your last step. And where you sit in your current reality becomes your current reality forever until you leave this planet. Oof. Tough one. So the algorithm is going to trick you with all of these grand dopamine schemes, and they'll send you high as fucking the air. You see sexy women, right? You see people smoke weed, and it just reflects back to you all of the chaotic shit that's within your nervous system and within your life. And then it just continues to leave you feeling empty. Because your flaws are being portrayed back to you. You smoke weed, there is weed all over your fucking algorithm. And you into motivational masturbation, you're going to see David Goggins on your shit nonstop, but you'll never move. Because you don't have anybody telling you need to move. You just hear motivation, right? And it's masturbation to you. You feel good. You get the motivation, right? But the same fucking thing can be said when it comes back to this loop over here. When you go to the algorithm, David Goggins is going to come, tell you that you have an obstacle that you cannot readily identify. You're still going to feel an emotion to the obstacle. And then you're just going to continue to feel a false dopamine because they get you hyped up in your emotions. And then you're going to crash when the fucking motivation goes away and you're not going to fucking move. And the obstacle still remains, right? So you're outgunned by the algorithm. You're not undisciplined. It is literally the algorithm. And if it's not the algorithm, think about it. It's what you input into your mental framework. Your mental framework's fucked up. You might love lust, and we're going to jump in that in 2 seconds. So let me just get to point 2. Point 2 is you must identify the primary enemy. Is it sexual? Do you have a sexual addiction? Dopamine loops, like we said before, you can identify the problem, but you always run from it because the dopamine alleviates you from the pain of actually dealing with the task? Is it fear of silence? Are you scared of being alone? Right? Because when you're scared of being alone, you might not want to hear the silence because silence is very loud to a chaotic mind. So if you're always used to chaos in your life, when the silence goes away, it's going to disrupt your fucking mental frame. So it's like, well, let me get rid of this feeling that silence brings by filling the gap or filling the void. Weed, women, drugs, partying. Who the fuck knows what you do? I don't know. But you have to identify the enemy first. Because what? You must have the name of the God that you are worshiping. Lust, fear, escape. What the fuck is it for you? You know what it is. But if you don't fucking figure it out, you're gonna, what's gonna happen? You're never gonna leave the loop. So 3, if you can't name the idol, you'll never kill it. Killing it is essential. You want to get over all of this shit that you're going through? You want to enter into a place that you excel and you become who you are truly supposed to become? You have to fucking kill whatever is eating at you. But if you can't name it because of whatever fucking reason you got, you're always going to stay where you are. When you want to move, that's why I said you are always going to be a bitch if you never can see what the problem is that you are causing onto your life. But the people that can say, fuck, I've done fuckery for such and such time. I've hit rock bottom. Okay, cool. Then now that you can identify your issue and how you got to where you are, now you can move up forward. But the only way you're going to be able to kill whatever the fuck brought you to bedrock is if you can identify it. If you can't identify what your problems are in life, you'll never be able to fix them, will you? No. It's like walking blind, but instead you're not fucking blind. You have all the fucking ability to identify the God that you're worshiping in your life because you are worshiping some bullshit. Women, weed, whatever the fuck. Maybe it's silence. A lot of it is fucking silence for some men because a lot of you are fucking alone, right? You're in friend groups that don't serve you. right? So you're around people, but you're spiritually dead, right? You're numb to it. A lot of your friends aren't your friends and you know it. So you just put on a fucking public mask. Again, you have 3 lives. And that's one of the things my mentor told me off the rip. You have 3 lives. You have a public life, a private life, and a secret life. The public life is what everybody fucking sees of you. Your private life is what you and your intimate people know about you. Your secret life is what you never tell anybody and it comes to the grave with you. A lot of you sit at that public fucking life and just play mask all day, end up depleted, come back to your private life, don't know what the fuck to do because you never engaged with it. And then your secret life, you keep all the fucking dopamine, the false dopamine and all the bullshit that keeps you sedated from the pain of life. And then you're dying inside. So no one sees you for who you truly are because you're too fucking scared to identify your problems, let your true identity reign in your public life and just be. Does that mean you need to give access to everybody? Or give access to your private and your secret life to everybody? Fuck no. But the better you are at understanding yourself, the better you will be at your public life. And hell, some people's lives, they're small, big, and in between. It doesn't matter. But the easier you are at understanding yourself first, the better you will be at living those lives. Right? So if you can't identify what the fuck has a hold on you, you'll never be able to live life correctly. You'll never feel comfortable in the circles you're around. You'll never be able to feel comfortable by yourself. So now we're going to give you the fucking solution. You're not weak. You've just never been trained. The Unruly Blueprint was built for this war. $9.87 to rewire your nervous system, monetize your content, and escape the matrix. There's a 3-part exit. Don't quit, right? Don't quit your vice. Because if you quit your vice, it's just almost like ignoring it. Don't ignore it. Understand it, right? Because what people fuck up. And I had to come to terms with this because my vice was always women. I love women down to the bone, right? Talk to a shorty, but deal with you in all sorts of ways, right? Masculine men love women. But that was my vice. Okay, cool. You don't quit women. You don't quit weed. You don't quit clubbing. You don't quit. No, you replace it, right? So your endless trap, whatever we spoke about before, the loops, right? So the tasks that you know, the emotions, the false dopamine, and then the crash. That is a fucking loop, an endless loop that won't go away because all of your tasks don't just go away. Your life will continue. You'll always have things to do, right? When you feel something, you must then change your action towards whatever is going on. So the positive habit stacking is the only way you can happen. You don't just quit these things. No, you replace them with positive habit stacking. So you identify the problem, you feel the emotion. This is why I said in previous videos, before you get into anything, understand that your internal structure reigns king. The better you can keep your nervous system neutral, the better you are at then regulating your life, because when your emotions come, you don't just follow what your emotions tell you to do, you regulate it. Okay, cool. So when that emotion comes, now you know whatever task you had to do, it'll trigger that emotion. When that emotion comes, you can say, okay, cool. In my previous fucking loop, I acted in this way of finding dopamine. Okay, cool, right? Now it's, I feel for dopamine, but instead of getting dopamine, I'm going to replace that with actually doing the action. And in the beginning, is replacing hard? Of course it is, but try it. You're going to replace that feeling of going to dopamine with actually doing the action this time. Then you're going to feel good because you did the action. Then, instead of fucking crashing, you're going to what? Let's go back up here. You're going to progress. So instead of following all this bullshit, you're going to move to this fucking thing right here. And then there's going to be another one that you have to fucking jump to. Right? Once you're here, you just then do the same thing because you feel the dopamine of progressing. Right? Because what they don't tell you is that when you're going through the shit in the motions of the false dopamine, you get the same feeling when you finish and progress forward. When you finish a task and progress forward, you get the same dopamine hit. So now instead of looking for the dopamine that just brings you up on a high, You look to progress forward towards a centralized goal fortified by law, mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, gender. When you put a goal through that test and you just follow and make sure everything is moving towards progressing forward, you're going to get the dopamine feeling. You don't chase the feeling, you chase the progression of your goal, and by a byproduct, you get the dopamine. So you're habit stacking now. You know that I have this thing to do. Once I finish that thing, I'm going to do this next thing. Once I finish that next thing, there's another thing I do. What does that mean? So all of your habits have a stack next to it. Once you do something, it triggers the thing, the next habit, which is like a domino effect. And that's why I say you need a strong routine, right? And it's not really a routine. It's more so a way of life, systems. Because once you start to regulate your internal systems and go through the hardship, which we're going to talk about in a second, you'll be better apted to doing these things on a regular basis instead of falling back into a state of getting hijacked by dopamine. So enforce consequences. So if you know that your habit stacking is what you should be doing and you fuck up, punish yourself. Once you punish yourself, you will then correct yourself and do the right thing. Pain reprograms you. What do I mean? If I know that I have shit to do in my life and you take it wherever you see fit. If I understand my vice and I say my vice is lust. My vice is having sexy women around me when I know I should be working because I'm fucking fed up and I want to deal with women because it's just easy, right? But the work I have to do is more important. So I'm doing all my habit stacks. Imagine I'm here doing my habits, right? I'm here doing my habits. Here's my habits. All right, and I'm going habit to habit to habit. And then this one here, there's a woman. There's women here. Right? So now I have a choice to make. I know that I should be going here. This is my next move. But instead I go here. All right? I go to the women because I'm tired and I'm looking for softness. And you know what? A piece of me just desires to fuck. So it's not within my routine because I know that fucking women comes at either the early parts of my morning or the later parts of my night. Right? I'm going to punish myself for going to the women. Say my day ended here. Yeah. Let's say day ended here. So instead of going to the next step, I went to women, right? My option now, what I do as the punishment is force myself to hop 2 more. So from here, I'm going here. And you know what? I'm going to do some extra work because I need to feel the pain of fucking up. And for you, it might be, hey, do some physical pain. Push off the dopamine that you would have rewarded yourself later on, right? So imagine if sex is usually my thing that I want to indulge in to continue my habit stacking routine that I'm going to give myself as a reward, a treat, I guess. Who the fuck wants to know, right? A lot of people program their life the way that they program it. I program it with softness. Right? So if I like softness at either the start of my day or the end of my day, and I fucked up and took softness on too early, right? That then put me in a state of softness for the rest of my day. And I should have been doing these things, right? I should have been doing my task and finishing. Instead of just stopping here and feeling soft, I'm going to take in that softness because, hey, if I'm going to indulge, I'm going to fucking indulge. And then I'm going to actually double down. So instead of saying my day ended there, I'm going to double down with more work. Because you don't deserve the fucking softness and you took it anyways, you bitch. So you give yourself a consequence. And you can do the same for you. It varies for everybody. Everybody has their own way of punishing themselves. I punish myself with pushing away dopamine that I want. Right? And even hell, if you want to go a little further, fuck doing that. I'll do that and then I won't have sex for a longer period of time. Maybe 3, 4 days, 5 days, a week even. You push whatever dopamine that you would have given yourself regularly all the way back. And do work instead. Do push-ups if you don't have, do push-ups in the punishment spot. Whatever the fuck you can do to punish yourself, just punish yourself and then correct it. So not only am I pushing the dopamine away, but I'm also doubling down and getting back on my routine, right? Because pain reprograms you better than guilt ever would. You can't just tell yourself, oh, fuck, I fucked up today, I fucked up. Fuck it, fuck all that victimhood bullshit, guilt, blah, blah, blah. Guilt is one of the lowest frequencies you can have to get to where you want to. So why the fuck would you think that guilt is going to push you forward into where you need to be? No, fuck that. I'm going to understand that I have a task to do. So like, I'm going to take my shit very serious now, push off dopamine, double down on what I should have been doing, and then I'm going to get dopamine later on because I need to feel the punishment of fucking up. Punishment is actually a good thing. And a lot of you run from the goddamn pain. And that's why you're always in a fucked up loop of dopamine, because you never want to feel pain. And that's just human psychology. We all just run for comfort. But as a man of structure, you're always going to be up against pain. What the fuck is your structure if it's never tested? And usually your structure needs to be tested by pain. The fuck? So you can't run from punishment. Just accept it for what it is. And you have to self-regulate yourself with pain and punishment. It's required. And lastly, you have to then declare spiritual law onto your life. Use your tongue as a sword, because if you don't use it, you're going to lose it, right? I command, and here's just a commandment you can tell yourself. I am not a slave built to be, or I am not built to be a slave to cravings. I command my body and I command my time. Tell yourself these commandments. Look in the mirror. Talk to yourself daily. If you speak it out, you'd become it. So the more you start to speak and command your life, the better your life becomes, because now you're telling yourself what and who you are and what you do and what you don't do. So if you have an addiction to whatever the fuck it is, declare it to yourself first. Look yourself in the mirror for long periods of time and you'll see who you are. Right? Tell yourself who you are and who you're not. Like, you can journal and do all that other shit, but it needs to be verbalized. Say it out. Speak it into the energetic fucking field you're on. Say it. You going to do what you said you was going to do or not? And anytime you feel that urge to go back to whatever the fuck you trying to release, remember this right here, your positive habit stacking. So your closing decree. Addiction is not stronger than you. You are just more entertained by the cage than the conquest. The loop ends the moment you stop negotiating with it. You are not meant to cope. You are meant to command, speak law, move through fire, break the spell, or stay a slave to it. Consider yourself warned.